For over 30 years, Situation Management Systems has trained the Positive Power and Influence program to people all over the world in an effort to empower themselves with the knowledge and tools they need to deal with difficult situations at work, at home, and everywhere in between. Our CEO and host, Sherri has been training people about positive power and influence all around the world for most of her professional career, and recently got her PhD in Human Development within the School of Leadership at Fielding University. Her co-host, Rhonda Selvale, has been with the company for more than 10 years now, and is not only a client services consultant, but a trainer of the program who has directed various learning initiatives for some of our most important clients.
This is Sherri.
And this is Rhonda.
And we are talking about relationships today.
We all have them.
We all need them.
We don't all do them really well.
No, we can be pretty poor at doing relationships. I mean, as I was doing my research for my PhD, which looks into the leader-follower relationship, which is a very, very specific relationship, it started occurring to me as I was writing about it that everything that happens because of relationships. So we have an organization that has a particular culture. Well, that culture is actually in place because of relationships. Decisions get made that impact company cultures because of
relationships.
And you might say, why? How is that possible? How can you say everything is based on relationships? Well, so let's say we've got a couple of senior people in the room, and they're going to make a decision that has to do with a policy, say working at home policy. And there's a final decision maker in the room. And who does the best job of influencing that final decision maker?
Wins the hat.
It's the person with the best relationship,
absolutely.
or the people with the best relationship. I mean, it sounds like it probably wouldn't work that way. And some places are more consensus driven, for sure. But the people who get listened to are the ones that have solid relationships. Now, you might think it's because of data, and data can play a role in decisions, absolutely. But in the end, people go with their intuition, believe it or not, and relationships.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think of when back when I was working with another organization, the focus was always about internal customers. If you take care of your internal customers, your external customers will be happy. And you take care of your internal customers by seeing that you have strong relationships. It makes things work. It makes people work far more effectively together when there are strong relationships.
Well, when I have a good relationship with somebody, we can disagree and nobody's feelings get hurt. Or if they do get hurt, we can kiss and make up. Well, not literally. I'm sure HR would be going, no, you can't kiss and make up. But we make up, we talk about it, we figure out what went wrong, and we work it out when we have a good relationship with somebody.
Yeah, you're not afraid to ask for resources when they're needed. You're not afraid to ask for help when it's needed.
Yeah, you're not afraid that that'll get turned against you.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is the relationships that aren't established. There's fear going into them.
Well, just this week, I was working with a client. And the people in the room all reported to one person, and they were all afraid of this person.
Fear is a 4-letter word.
Rhonda, that's awesome. Fear is a 4-letter word that starts with F.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and all of those people obviously don't feel like they have any kind of a relationship with this person. You can't do anything right. You can't push back up against her. You can't do anything. This is a woman. And her explanation is she's passionate.
Sounds to me like she knows how to rule with her positional power.
Oh, totally. And what does positional power do to relationships?
It devastates them. When it's not used effectively.
When it's used badly.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can use positional power wisely.
But not everybody does.
No.
I actually read an article online on LinkedIn just the other day, and it was talking about how the higher up people go in the C-suite, the lower their emotional intelligence is, because they become used to getting things based on their power, not on their relationships. It's quite that. I think it's that simple.
You'd
Yeah.
think. You'd think. I mean, it kills me. We have all of this research on leadership, all of these smart people writing smart books. We got all of this stuff out there, yet you still have people ruling by fear, by intimidation, and it just damages the relationship and damages the culture, and you have this culture that's just not a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the proof is out there that it's not needed. And again, the company that I worked for, they were fun to work with because you were respected for your opinions. You were expected to share your opinions. And everybody had the same, we'll call it a communication methodology. And it was based on treating people with respect and dignity, regardless of your position in the organization. And it was powerful.
Well, when it's done authentically and people really build the relationships, it's great. But then I've been in so many places where people are nice. We've got to be nice, which is much different than being respectful and authentic and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Because being nice, in a lot of cases, ends up being not being honest, not being direct, not having conflict. Everybody has conflict. Every relationship that's worth its salt has conflict and learns how to get through the conflict. I mean, the test of any relationship is the first time you have a real conflict.
Yes. The idiom "smile while you kill." Because there, I've seen people. That's it. They come across like they're being nice, but there's not an ounce of sincerity.
Right.
And they manipulate to get what they want instead of working together with people to get what they want.
Yeah, and then if people, if there's no conflict, if there's no disagreement, then problems don't get discussed, problems don't get solved, and you've got a lot of avoidance going on.
And it's easier to avoid, but that negative situation never goes away. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it continues to get worse because the issue. Bless you.
Excuse me.
If those issues don't get resolved in their infancy, they do tend to grow into nasty, ugly children.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. So, relationships. So, a lot of people will say to me, well, how do you build a relationship?
Listening's a good way to start. Coming in and asking some questions and just getting to know someone. We don't do that enough.
Being present.
Yeah.
Being present, understanding what's happening for somebody else. It's a powerful thing to do with somebody because we don't pay attention to people, right? Yeah. Everybody's got a phone attached to their face. So we don't connect, we don't focus. Yeah. We don't do any of that stuff.
No, we can hide behind technology too. And that there are people who will text or write things that they would never say to a person to their face.
It's true, but it was interesting. Last week, somebody was, or maybe it was this week, they're all kind of blending together, was saying that sometimes texting actually helps with conflict because there's no tone of voice or body language, no facial expression, so you can actually calmly talk through some stuff and then follow it up with a face-to-face conversation. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that sometimes texting can actually help in relationships.
Yeah, I think that's a double-edged sword simply because the emotion is on the reader of that text. So even if they're just simple words, they're going to be read with how that individual is perceiving the situation to be. They're going to put their emotions on the situation.
Yeah, but you can go back and forth and sort that out too. I mean, I think sometimes when you say things and you're upset, that it can inflame the situation. And so there's a way that texting can actually, reduce that a little bit. But I mean, again, way to build relationships is be present, connect, listen, I always tell people, use the bridging skill. The bridging style.
Yeah.
And that will make things 100 times better,
Sure.
especially if you use disclosure and let people know what's important to you, what matters to you, what are your intentions, what are your motivations. When that stuff is transparent, when people can actually see and hear what matters to you, a lot of times they will respond in kind and disclose back.
Yeah. It does open the doors to a more open, more friendly conversation, more honest conversation.
Which builds trust in the relationship. So there's a lot of different things that obviously go into relationships in organizations that are very similar to, our personal life. So you want trust, you want respect, you want fairness. There's a whole bunch of things that actually contribute to the quality of that relationship. And my upcoming book, Science and the Leader-Follower Relationship, will go into this in a lot of detail, especially the science behind it.
Yeah. Well, you bring up trust, and that I think that's so important. Trust. People just don't trust you because you're in the position that you're in. You have to earn that, and on both ends, as both a leader and a follower, there's some responsibility on both sides.
There is, and we've talked about this, that while what the leader does and what the follower does, their actual actions may be separate and their tasks may be different, both are equally responsible for the quality of the relationship. Sure, the leader in many cases will take the lead. They don't have to, but a lot of times they will in setting the tone. But it's also on the follower. There's some pretty poor followers out there. Backstabbing, undermining, talking badly about their manager behind their back. Not trusting their manager. Oh, they're not giving me all the information, all that kind of stuff. And there's places where that's absolutely true. There are people like that. But you also got to understand that your manager has a manager and they have a manager. And, they have expectations on them. They are told what they can share and what they cannot share. And so sometimes you have to put your trust in your leader and your manager that they're going to do the right thing by you.
And you have to, I think you have to develop a relationship with, particularly when there's a change in the organization, when a new manager is coming in. Don't listen, people will listen to everything negative that they've heard about that individual and make decisions based on those negatives. When very often you're being given information that's just one-sided.
You have a great example about this, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I was, again, with an organization I was working with, and everybody hated this gentleman because he was so tough to work with. But nobody took 5 minutes to ask him what was his standard. And we as a group of managers just met with him and said, what are your expectations of us? Give us an opportunity to prove that we can meet your expectations, and then let's move forward from there. And he was the best manager I ever worked with.
Oh, nice.
Because I think he was maybe taken aback that we took that approach.
Yeah.
So that certainly helped. But he understood an aspect of the business that a lot of the managers didn't. This was he had a great depth of retail knowledge. Mm-hmm. And most of us were used to working in the food industry. Mm. So he taught us. But no one had given him the opportunity to tell him what it is we needed to know or ask him what it is we needed to know. And it made for a really great experience. I learned more from him than I think any other district manager that I had worked with before.
So there you go. You used bridging, didn't you?
Without a doubt. And it made a big difference.
Interesting. Because a lot of people will do that. They will build up in their mind a particular image of a leader or a particular person who has a reputation for being challenging or difficult and get intimidated.
Yeah. And that's really what it was. Everyone assumed he led by intimidation, and he didn't. He just had an exacting standard to information that he knew more about than anyone else.
And maybe he wasn't very good at communicating.
Well, no, there was a gruffness to him. There was a gruff side. I will not say no to that.
Yeah. Yeah, because those reputations don't come out of, they're not just created.
Yeah.
So some of these people
Yeah.
can be difficult.
Yeah, he didn't have any difficulty telling people exactly what it was that he expected from them.
Yeah.
But he never gave people, or no one ever gave him the opportunity to let him know.
Yeah, what's behind
And
it?
it was really a matter of just asking him.
Maybe you softened him up.
Maybe. But he did. I really did learn a lot to the point where I actually moved forward in the organization with much coaching from him. So
Nice.
He really was a feather in my pocket, so to say.
Isn't it a feather in your hat?
My feather in my cap. That's it.
I don't know what it's going
bad
to do.
with analogies
I don't
today,
know what
sorry.
it's going to do in your pocket. We won't go there.
Well, it could be a nice accessory.
So what else comes to mind about relationships for you?
Well, I mean, there's always those wonderful personal relationships that we all manage so well. Not.
Yeah, most of us are at our worst at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been able to really work on a relationship by taking some of your advice, by getting myself grounded before I go into any conversation, by knowing what her trigger is where I'm not going to be listened to anymore, and disengaging and ending the conversation. And it salvaged our relationship.
That's awesome.
You know, we've gone from Christmas to now without a negative incident. And that's really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah. Your advice, grounding, if you're going into a challenging conversation with anyone, whether it be personal or professional, ground yourself. Be aware of how you're feeling, how present you are in that situation. It makes such a difference because you're calm, you're neutral.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does make a big difference.
It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for that, I thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And everybody, those grounding videos can be found on the Situation Management Systems Facebook page. There's a whole bunch of videos there, and you'll see them labeled as grounding in different ways. So go ahead and help yourself to 10 minutes of getting centered and grounded for difficult conversations, easy conversations, starting your day, ending your day. It's the best way.
And if you can't find 10 minutes to ground, you need 20.
There you go. There you go. Well, any other thoughts or?
No, just, it's the most important part of our day-to-day interactions are the relationships that we build. And take the time to make your relationships work inside and out because they affect you everywhere.
Well, and they save you time in the long run.
Without a doubt.
The better my relationships are, the easier it is to get stuff done, the smoother my day goes.
Exactly. You want to achieve those objectives, strengthen some relationships.
All right. I'm Sherri.
I'm Rhonda.
We'll talk to you next
See you next time.